What's good? It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. We back with the Boxing Clinic, you dig. And speaking of real boxing ish, and it sounds like Terence Crawford is ready to move up to welterweight, something that we already knew. Hinted today at Twitter about it. But, pretty much already knew what was going to happen. Most people think he's going to go to welterweight and start cleaning the house. It don't work like that. Not in 2017. Promoters, managers, money, contracts, all that stuff to jump over before you even get to that. And that's a lot of barriers to get over with in the sport of boxing today. I think one of the barriers that Crawford is going to have to overcome is just being with Bob Arum. Seems that Bob Arum doesn't like promoting him the way he promotes Lomachenko. And that's how I kind of knew, when fight week came for Crawford and Dongo, the way they wouldn't really promote that fight. Crawford said, I didn't like the way ESPN did that. Basically, that's what he said. But it wasn't ESPN that didn't market that fight or didn't promote that fight. It wasn't their choice. That was Bob Arum and Top Rank's choice not to promote that fight. He's talking to ESPN, and maybe it's a code word for Top Rank or Bob Arum not promoting this fight. But the reason I know that Top Rank and Bob Arum didn't promote that fight on purpose was the simple fact that when they had their little media sit down the week of the fight, it's kind of like, the grand arrivals, the media, sit down with the media, then the final press tour conference, and then the weigh-in, and then the fight. At the media day, Bob Arum was praising Vasily Lomachenko like this dude was 30-0 with 30 knockouts and had beat the likes of everybody, that's anybody around his weight class. When it came to speak about Terence Crawford media day, you didn't hear one lick from Bob Arum. You didn't know Bob Arum was there until probably the weigh-in, or the final press conference. He doesn't speak up Terence Crawford. He don't. He don't praise Terence Crawford like that. You remember after Crawford got done, after one of his victories, before the Julius and Dongo fight, I forgot who he was fighting. Oh, he's fighting Felix Diaz, gold medal winner, excuse me. He said that, I wanted to fight Keith Thurman. And then, Bob Arum ripped him. Right after he said that, he ripped him. When Lomachenko says something, he want to fight somebody, Bob Arum never rips him. He just, glosses over it and keep going. And that's how you tell the relationship between Top Rank or Bob Arum and Terence Crawford. It ain't all platinum and ain't all gold. They got a serious issue with promoting black fighters. Going back to Floyd and now Terence Crawford, a lot of people thought that that Bob Arum would make the same mistake he did with Floyd with Terence Crawford. Now we know that it's false, and I'm pretty sure after Crawford tweeted what he tweeted, he was aware of it. But him going to welterweight, I don't know who he's gonna fight. Top Rank have two notable welterweights right now. Konstantin Pulimov, who is in a title eliminator, to become Errol Spence's mandatory in the IBF versus Carlos Ocampo, I think his name is. And they have Jesse Vargas, who they're in a contract dispute with, who's been linked to probably sign that extension with Top Rank and get a Jeff Horn fight that'll pay him very well. Other than that, they probably going to pick a journeyman. PBC Al Heyman dominates the welterweight division. I think they control every belt in the welterweight division except for the one Jeff Horn holds, the WBO belt. So, will Bob Arum let Terence Crawford go fight those guys? Some people think that's the only fighter he'll let off the leash. And people think, because Crawford can handle his own. It's not the simple fact. He doesn't value Crawford the way he values those Eastern Europeans like Vasily Lomachenko. And let's just keep it real. When he had Mikey Garcia, they was pushing Mikey Garcia well, but his contract ran up. And, now he gets the opportunity to be a promotional free agent, just be managed by Al Heyman and fight who he wants to fight. And for Terence Crawford, I think he wants that similar. He's going to eventually, if he doesn't already, want that similar freedom, because he's going to watch these guys get these belts. Trade these belts around. Earl, Keith, Danny, if he gets another belt, and he's going to be stuck fighting for the WBO belt and holding and defending that belt, which right around with the IBF at 147 is lackluster. And do we just automatically think Terence Crawford really wants to fight any of these guys? He says it, but does he really want to fight Keith Thurman? Does he really want to fight Earl Spence? Does he really want to fight Sean Porter? Does he really want to fight Danny Garcia? They fought in the amateurs before. I think Danny won. You know, you got to ask yourself these questions. You know, he didn't sign the Top Rank just to avoid these guys. Let's just keep it real. He's at 135, no exposure, no major deal on horizon. Got the word from Top Rank through word of mouth. Sign with him. It all depends on what they want to do. You know, Bob Arum said that you know, he didn't want to send his guys to Showtime doing less than 1 million views. Well, PBC can accommodate them by putting it on CBS. Crawford doesn't have a potty mouth like Broner. You know, he's a good, respectable dude. They wouldn't mind having on CBS or regular Fox. But it's all up to Bob Arum. You know, do you want to let this guy blossom, or do we want to hold this guy back? And that's what it comes down to. People excited for Crawford going to welterweight. I'm not excited for it. I'd rather him stay at 140. Excuse me, for the simple fact that you know, it's more competition where he can fight there. You know, Josh Taylor is a guy with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn will work with Bob Arum. Regis Prograis, he's kind of a PBC guy. But Lou DiBella, you know, he can work with Top Rank. You know, Sergey Lipinets, he can work that. His promoter could work with Top Rank. You know, I just think it was a better overall division for him to just keep fighting and dominating that. At 147, there's no room for him. The only room for him is the WBO. And if, you know, Jeff Horner's not going to fight him in November and eventually going to hold that belt, fight an easy fight, or perhaps Jesse Vargas, you know, if Jesse Vargas won the belt, yeah, Crawford can fight him. But if, you know, Horn retains the belt or somehow fights Pacquiao, Pacquiao gets the belt, Pacquiao's not going to fight Terence Crawford, no matter what Bob Arum says. So, I mean, he's in a rock and a hard place. He's in one of the worst situations, you know, in the sport of boxing, especially in the welterweight division. You know, he can scream to Bob all day, I want to fight these guys, I want to fight these guys. You know, well, Al would be like, well, I'm not sending my guys to ESPN. He got to come to PBC. And him and Bob, you know, Bob Arum and Al have been under that stalemate for a long time. You know, and I don't see it stopping. You know, they work together sometime. When it comes to two of their aces, Keith Thurman, Earl Spence, I just think it's going to be a stalemate. And he's going to have a long career at welterweight. But we'll see what